What's up, y'all? I gotta thank y'all so much for your patience because, to be honest, I was cut off like several times earlier, but I'm back. Rasati live here in Singapore. I can't be stopped. I won't be stopped. I won't be outworked, okay? So, anyway, wanted to jump on here because I had finance on the brain. And it's been a concern of mine for a while, not just for me, but because of people that I'm talking to and the stories that they're sharing with me. So, a couple of case points in particular. I want to make sure that you are aware, very aware of the money you're spending, where you're spending it on, and is it all necessary? I know a girl that was worried about, how she was going to make it through the week. She was living off of $10 because she was in between jobs. In between jobs, she had money that she had worked in jobs and they were unpaid as of yet. And she was worried because she knew the money was coming, but she still had to get it through the week, right? So here she is trying to make sure that her family is fed, that the bills are paid to the best of her ability. She's doing everything that she can, right? But unfortunately, she was just stuck like Chuck. But when you're down to like $10, what do? You make sure you get the basics, right? And I know because I've been there myself. You get the basics. You make sure there's milk, bread, and eggs in the house. You make sure there's sugar in the house, right? You make sure that whatever you buy, it's gotta last you a while. You're not gonna buy candy bars. So candy bars, you eat it in like 5 minutes flat, and you're done. That's not enough. You're gonna be hungry again. So what do? You buy stuff that really, really, really matters. Now she was an expert. She was a really good cook. What she does is she makes sure she has vegetables because vegetables aren't that expensive. Lucky for her, they're not that expensive. So instead of buying meat, because meat is quite expensive, she bought vegetables. She made sure there's bread, milk, eggs in the house, right? And she's been like this, living like this for a while now, maybe like 4, maybe 5 months, living basically hand to mouth. And I know what that's like. I know what that's like. And you're waiting on that big break. You're waiting on something to break free and actually come help you out or whatever. And you're struggling. And I understand because that's when you cut out all the extra stuff. That's when you make sure you don't spend anything on some extra stuff. But let me tell you something. She called me up. She told me, "Yo, you know what? I'm so excited. I got this paycheck coming. They told me the date that it's gonna land. It's gonna hit the bank. It's about $1,400. I'm so excited. I'm in the clear." And I'm thinking, okay, that's not bad at all. I'm really glad. I'm really happy for you. That's good. It's going to alleviate some stress and maybe you get out of that lack mentality because when you have $10 to your name and you got a family to feed, it's hard to concentrate on anything else. But what happened? She started talking to me about all the things that would change. And she was in the zone. She was in the flow. She was attracting all of that abundance to her for a moment. But I needed her to understand something. Yes, you have $1,400 come to you. That's amazing. You could go off and you could go shopping, stuff like that. Yeah, okay. You could buy more than just bread, eggs, milk. That's fine. But you also got to watch your wallet. You can't just go excited, like you do on payday. And a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all get so excited on payday. You go out there and you're like, ooh, I get to treat myself because I've been struggling all this time. I'm going to go buy this and I'm going to go buy that. I need me a new pair of shoes. I need some makeup. I need, whatever. And suddenly you're back at square one. Suddenly you're back to that place where you got to make sure that last $10 lasts you to the next payday. But what if we change the way we do that? I'm going to give you two examples. One very well known example, another not so known. Okay. Mike Tyson, amazing fighter, pure, raw talent, headstrong, anger management issues, but he could fight. He could fight his ass off. Okay. He made tons of money. He made millions, but he was broke. Why? He was broke because he went out and he got everything his heart desired. And that's not a bad thing, but he was not watching his wallet. He was doing it because he can. He figured, there will always be money coming to me now because I'm making millions. Millions will last a long time. No, it don't. Not if you're not smart about it. It's the same thing with lotto winners. They get the lotto, they hit the lotto, to pay off their debts, and whatever else is left over, it's going in my pocket. I'm going to buy something for me. Great, that's cool. But the amount of money you spend on bags and shoes and clothes and material possessions, when push comes to shove, it's hard to liquidate. And once you try to liquidate, you don't get the same amount of money you put in. It's not the same thing. So y'all know what happens when you have tons of money and you start spending it. Because I tell you what, this young lady, when I was talking to her, she was like, yo, I got the bills and I got all this stuff. I'm going to pay all the bills off and I'm going to have, money left. I'm going to have money left. It's $1,400. It's going to last me a long time. I could do so much with $10. Look what $1,400 is going to do me. But if she was really thinking clearly, she would take the money, right? And understand how much that has to go to the bills and how much is left over. When push came to shove, if she didn't go off and buy a bunch of extra stuff, yeah, she'd have plenty. But she was already planning. She needed, she needed some extraneous stuff. She needed some fancy shampoo instead of regular shampoo. She needed some, she needed clothes. She needed shoes because she hasn't been shopping in so long or whatever. And I get it. You want to feel good. That's great. But make sure you line up the next check first. Make sure you know when the next one's coming first. I'm going to give you the other example. So y'all know the Mike Tyson story. You know what he was doing. And it's because no one taught him better. No one taught him to save for the future. Because, I mean, let's face it. He's a fighter, right? Once somebody hits to the head, he won't be able to fight no more. He needs to make sure that he's going to be able to have something left over to eat on. But that's not what happened. There was a man somewhere in the Midwest, from what I understand, and he was a janitor. He was a janitor, and he had a family to feed and everything. He did all that he could, and I can't imagine that a janitor makes that much. I can't imagine a teacher makes that much, but he made enough to feed his family. It was steady income. But guess what? He was so good with his money that what he did was he made sure he lived on as little as possible. Always. I mean, enough for them to have abundance, for them to eat well, but not where it was like super luxurious or whatever. But, he made sure that he had enough to live on, and he saved everything else. Saved everything else, because when he retired, he was a millionaire. Think about that, a janitor's salary. Can you imagine the difference between having this big, luxurious, lifestyle and having a simple, mediocre one where you have enough? You're not wanting for nothing. You're not struggling. You have shoes on your feet. You got clothes on your back. You got food in your belly. You got enough. A decent house, a happy home, you got enough. And he was able to save the rest, which means he was very smart. He will never be in that broke phase again in his life because he made sure. He made sure. He probably fell into it a couple times and was like, nope, this is never happening to me again. I'm going to make sure. And that's what I want y'all to think about. You guys, the holidays are coming up, right? It's October. We got like what, a week before the end of the month, which means y'all getting paid soon. Halloween. Halloween means what's the next holiday? The next holiday is Thanksgiving. So you're going to buy a bunch of food for Thanksgiving. And guess what? Thanksgiving weekend, you're going to go camp out somewhere, or you're going to get ready for Cyber Monday. So either Black Friday or Cyber Monday, you're going to be ready. You're going to have stuff ready, right? You're going to be excited. You're planning out all your money, where it's going to go and everything. Because guess what? After that, Christmas, New Year. You got parties to go to. You got to buy some alcohol to celebrate. You got to buy outfits to celebrate. You got to do some stuff. And I get it. I understand. But how fast does that money disappear? How quickly does that money leave your hands? And the last thing you need to be worried about over the holidays is, oh my God, I can't wait till January 1st where I get paid again. It's tough to be broke. It sucks to be broke. And I named this podcast Just Over Broke because a lot of y'all, and I'm not gonna lie, I did the same damn thing. A lot of us, we live from paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because we're not good about saving money. When we have to, we will save money. When we have to, we'll make it work. We'll find the money somewhere. We will get smart about everything. But can you imagine the kind of lifestyle you have if you were smart about it all the time? Just think, this girl was talking about she lived on $10. $10 a week for a couple of weeks. She made it work. She found a way. There was no waste in her house at that point. I guarantee it. I don't know. I mean, I didn't talk to her, but I'm guaranteeing that she didn't have any waste in her house. She didn't buy anything that she threw away. She didn't have anything that spoiled. She made sure that she knew the expiration dates of everything in her damn house. She used everything. But the minute she got money, or got a hint of the fact that money was coming through, she got excited. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Get excited. And then she started thinking about all the things she was going to spend it on that had nothing to do with her survival. They were all luxury shit at that point. Let me tell you, I've been broke. I've been in situations where I got to the grocery store, cart full of groceries, and I couldn't pay for it. Why? Because my check hadn't hit my account yet. I had the kids with me. They were looking at me like, what the fuck? Seriously? Thanks. I'm so embarrassed. I remember one Christmas, I had decorations and food for me to cook, for a party that was coming up, and I had some presents in there and stuff, and the kids were with me, and I got to the line, and then they said, nah, your card is declined. I was like, oh my God. And I'll never forget, because the person behind me was like, look, you know what? Merry Christmas, I'm gonna pay for this. And I felt so small and so insignificant and so grateful at the same time. I have been rescued more times than I can count. I have been rescued a lot. I know what it's like. You cut off all your stupid subscriptions, all those magazines that you don't even look at, you cut them all off. All those extraneous stuff that, the memberships online, like $10 here, $20 there, you get rid of all that stuff. If it's not important, you get rid of it all. I know what that's like. I was right there this year, early this year, because I made some major changes in my life. I decided, you know what, my business or bust. I quit my job. I left everything behind with whatever my last paycheck was. I tried. I pushed. I made sure it was going to be my business or bust. It's like I burned the bridge, so I couldn't go back and get that cushy lifestyle and then be like, oh yeah, 10 years later, oh yeah, I'm still starting that business. Nah, I put my all into it. I took a huge risk. I know what it's like to scrounge by, to have to say no to your kids because they go to the grocery store. What do? They go right down the candy aisle. They go right down the toy aisle. Ooh, I want this, I want this. And I'm like, nope, can't, nope, can't, nope, can't. And it hurt me as much as it hurt for them to hear it, but I had to. Because I don't want to live the rest of my life in a job where I'm just over broke. I want to thrive. I want to flourish. I'm telling you, I got to a place this year where I got really good at making fun out of nothing. Paper planes, y'all. Paper planes. Hand games. Stuff like Miss Mary Mac. Okay? I found a tennis ball. We play handball downstairs all the time. All those like old school playground games where we didn't have the means to do anything fancy. We didn't have scooters and stuff like that. We didn't have a bike. We played whatever we could. I remember I lived in the woods in Buckingham County, and when we were bored, we would take a stick and a rock and pretend to play baseball. And there's nothing quite like the sound of a branch hitting this rock where it's like spitting the rock and that you can hear it. It sounds awesome. Now, how's that for hand-eye coordination? Because you can barely see the rock most times. I want to live that lavish lifestyle just like the next person. I don't want to have to worry about bills ever again in my life, but guess what? That is the reality. I'm going to have to worry about them because if I don't worry about them, I don't know where the money's going. If I don't know what I'm paying for, I don't know where the money's going. The money will go. It will automatically go. It's something that I hate about direct debit. I'm sorry. What is that called? Where it automatically comes out of your checking account. I hate that shit. I hate it. Gyro is what it's called here in Singapore, but I don't like that stuff because I forget when the money comes out. I'd be looking at my bank balance like, yeah, okay, I got like, $600 in my account, and this is going to be awesome, because I'm planning on getting this, and this. And then the next day I'm down to 400 and something because I forgot a bill came out that day. I hate that. I want y'all to thrive. I want y'all to feel like you're doing something. I want you to feel like every time you make money, you're stepping up a little further. Not the fact that you ride this roller coaster thing like a bell curve almost. You're going up, you're going up, you're going up, and then log ride, you go back down again. You're waiting for the next bill to hit. You're waiting for the next check to hit. Plan. Plan to succeed. Plan a budget that you're not allowed to go over. You know how much money I saved when I stopped drinking? Oh my God. You know how much money I saved when I started taking the train down to the club? And I made sure I left at a decent time so that I could catch the train back. I didn't have to pay for a cab and surcharges at midnight and all that shit. I didn't have to do none of that. I went by myself, so I didn't have to take care of anybody else. I could have fun the way I wanted to. I could go to whatever club I felt like. I made sure I went to places that people knew me so that I would have company, but it didn't depend on that company to go to the next place if I wanted to go home early. You know how much money I save by not going out to eat all the time? I mean, I could take my family out to dinner. I could spend like 30, 40 bucks on three of us to go sit and eat dinner. That's fine. 30, 40 bucks now since I've been living this budgeted lifestyle. 30 bucks now, I could really feed myself for a week, like well. I probably eat the same thing every day, but you know what? We would eat well. There would be a dessert every night because I would make the dessert. It would last. that money would last. Please, you guys, going into the holidays, think about your money. For those of you who are entrepreneurs, who are trying your best to get ahead every month, think about your money. Think about where you're about to spend it. And I get it. Look, I had a family of 5. I had 3 kids and a husband to buy Christmas presents for. And I'm telling you, he didn't buy Christmas presents. I did. I started buying every week in October. Something small every week in October for each of them. So then by the time Christmas came by, I had a million things gift wrapped underneath the Christmas tree, and they felt like Christmas. But it wasn't anything major. It was fun stuff that would make them smile. It added to their lives, and I felt good about that. You can make a really big celebration if you want by doing small things, by really getting to the heart of the matter. It's part of the reason I was so good at, being attentive and helpful with guests in customer service in hospitality. I got to know people really well. I was able to get to the heart of the matter and able to give them something that really meant something that something that they would remember in years to come. It wouldn't be like every other holiday when they come by and it's like, oh, I got comped this and I got comped that. Nope. I made things for my guests. I wrote letters to my guests. I made sure they remembered that specific holiday that they took with us. Why? Because I was poor once. Okay, not once, a couple of times in my life. And I understood the value of gift giving if you do it right. So please, pay attention to your money. Pay attention to where you're spending it. If you're going to be really, really great about making every dime count when you don't have a lot, make sure that extends when you do have a lot so you can keep more. You can save more. Nest eggs are good. All right, you guys, that's it for today, but I love you. Thank you so much for joining, and I will catch you again soon. Bye.